Good morning, Slim and Mr. and Mrs. Hergert. I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to say hello from everyone at Mackay and send you this video showing you the instructions for how to install this Manta wall mount with the parts and the tools needed. Here are the parts necessary for the installation of the wall-mounted Manta. Here we have the cradle for the Manta that will actually hold the body itself, a rubber collar for the inside of the mounting cover plate, the finish screws for the outside of the cover plate. This here is the actual mounting plate itself, which comes with and needs to be installed with a through bolt through the actual cradle itself, like so. Once it is installed in the mounting plate running through the wall. There is a set screw additionally on this side of the mounting plate, which requires a 3/32 Allen wrench to finish setting the cradle into the mounting plate during installation. Prior to that, we have our 120 to 12 volt power supply with an adjoining power control box to be installed inside the wall. 4 wire nuts, 4 long decking screws to attach the mounting plate through the drywall to the stud once you have run power to the location, and 1 LED light strip to be attached to the outside of the cradle. Here's a list of tools that I would require for the installation of the Manta. And while I'll give you a rundown and inventory of the tool list, it would be very, very advisable to have this done by an installer, a handyman, or a qualified professional like an electrician, since you will be needing to run power to the source and to get inside the wall to hook up the power supply and run it through the wall and attach all of the parts to the stud. Drill with a 1/2-inch drill bit to punch a hole through the drywall and the stud for the mounting of the plate, the mounting plate, and the running of the electrical. This is a Phillips head impact driver used to attach all of the parts and pieces, most specifically the Phillips head screws, to the stud itself through the drywall. Again, 1 3/32 Allen wrench, 1 Phillips head screwdriver, and 1 either small crescent wrench or needle nose vice grips. Okay, so now we're going to be acting as if we are the installer, handyman, or electrician, mounting the electrical box and the power supply to the stud on the inside of the wall, where you have prepared a 1/2-inch hole through your drywall, through the finished surface of your wall, through the stud, right behind it, so that we can both secure the mounting plate on the other side of the wall, so that the decking screws for attaching the cradle and the mounting plate to the stud will get all the way through there, as well as providing this 1/2-inch hole to run the wiring from the electrical control box to the actual wiring on the cradle. I have just installed the electrical box with the power supply on the inside with the wires accessible for your installer. At this point, hopefully, whatever qualified professional that you have installing this power is fished out and used 120 volt power running from whatever your nearest power supply is, has the circuit off for that power at the moment, as he'll now be attaching what would otherwise be live wire to the power supply blocks, after which point I'm using a tester right now. I will be mimicking, by plugging this cord in, turning back on the breaker to this power supply here. But I'm going to go ahead and just attach the leads now, just as your professional could with a wire running through the wall to the mounting location. Now that you have your power supply hooked up with the leads on the inside of the wall still empty, we're going to come back and install the mounting plate on the front of the wall using a Phillips head impact driver, the mounting plate, and these 4 deck screws. As I've set these decking screws to mount this plate over the hole that we've created to run the wiring back to the power supply, we want to be sure of one thing, and that is that this through bolt hole through the collar, the mounting collar on the mounting plate, is as straight as possible, almost perpendicular to the ground, to assure correct orientation of the finished manta carriage after installation. Now we're going to assemble the actual finished mounting cover and the cradle pieces and install them on the actual mounting plate attached to the wall. For this, we'll need the cover plate, this gasket attached to and around the actual cradle for the manta itself, and these 3 finished mounting cover plate screws. We'll want to slide this mounting cover plate gently as close to the actual cradle as we can get it, and we'll adjust the orientation as we go about installing it. Now we're going to go and take this up to the actual mounting plate itself. With this through bolt and a 3/32 Allen key to actually attach the mounting cradle to the mounting plate, and then take these finished screws for the mounting plate to finish installing the cover plate. Now we're going to feed the wires attached to the LED connector running through the cradle, through the mounting plate, and into the wall cavity behind it. Hold on. Cut. Now we're going to drop this through bolt through the hole in the mounting collar as well as the hole in the cradle itself. Now, as we do this, it may be tricky because you may be fighting the wire on the inside of the cradle. So it may take some adjustments to get the through bolt past the LED wire and through the other side of the mounting collar. Once we get the through bolt through both the hole in the cradle and the hole in the collar, we'll want to bring the included nut and finish attaching the through bolt to the collar. And to do that, we'll need here our Phillips head screwdriver and either a needle nose vice grip or a small crescent wrench to fit the nut and then tighten up our bolt. Then we will tighten with our 3/32 Allen key the final adjusting set screw. To ensure that the cradle is secure. Now we will go and gently wiggle and slide our mounting, finished mounting cover plate to and over the underlying mounting plate, and we'll want to spin that cover plate to align the actual finished set screw holes with these hang on. Now that we've finished installation with the cover plate with the 3 finished screws on the outside of the cover plate, we'll just go ahead and attach our LED lead to the connector extending out of the cradle. Now, back on the inside of the wall, with the power off to the power supply still, we'll want to go and connect the leads extending out of the wall through the cradle to the leads extending to the power supply from the box. And we'll want to attach the included red wire to the red wire here. And the black wire to the purple wire here. Now that we've finished installing both the cradle, the mounting plate connections, and hooked up the power on the inside of the wall, we'll want to finish with installing the glass in the actual cradle. We're going to want to start by feeding these LEDs very carefully through the cavity on the inside of the glass. And this may take some maneuvering to make sure that all of these LEDs fall in an orientation that allows you to feed the strip into the glass. Then as we do this very carefully, we're going to want to continue to feed the LEDs into the manta until this bottom fin here can fit gently into these two sets of tines here. And then we'll want to very slowly, like so, pull and press on this top left corner to attach and fit the entire body of manta into this cradle. This is another angle of me setting the manta into the cradle. I've already set this bottom fin in these two tines. And once again, we're just going to fit this top left tine carefully, pressing on the top corner of this manta until it sits properly in the cradle. Now, with the installation of the power supply, the mounting cradle, the mounting plate, and the glass, I'm going to plug in my tester here to bring power to the circuit as if I were an electrician or an installer hitting the breaker to turn on the power to that live wire. And at this point here, we are finished with our installation. Well guys, that's it for the installation of the wall-mounted manta. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns or need any advice or help explaining anything about that procedure again. And I wanted to say thank you so much from us at Mackay. This was a joy to build, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all. Thank you so much guys. Aloha.